We are on page 8 of the notebook, talking about evaluating expressions. So, some vocabulary. What is an algebraic expression? It is a mathematical phrase made up of numbers and variables. And importantly, no equal sign. So an expression has no equal sign. So for example, 2x plus 3 is an expression. If it says 2x plus 3 equals 10, then it becomes an equation because there's an equal sign. The substitution property. If A equals B, then A may be replaced for B in any expression. So if I see that I have x equals 2 as an example, if I see an x, I know that I can replace it with a 2. How do we evaluate an expression? To evaluate an expression with variable replacements, we are going to substitute the variables with their given values. And each time we substitute a variable with a number, we will put parentheses around the number. Follow your order of operations. To evaluate. All right, so now we're going to do some practice problems. Go grab some paper. All right, question 1 is negative 3x cubed and x equals negative 2. So the first thing we do is substitute in a negative 2 for x. So I have negative 3, and then I'm replacing x with a negative 2 in parentheses cubed. So I do exponents first. Negative 2 cubed, a negative times a third negative is going to be a negative 8. And then a negative 3 times a negative 8 is a positive 24. Question 2. Is 4x squared minus the square root of y? X is equal to 3 and y is equal to 25. So substituting in those two values, I have 4 times 3 squared minus the square root of 25. And then I'm going to do this first because a square root is a grouping symbol, which is why I didn't also write parentheses in there, but you could. So the square root of 25 is going to be 5. Exponents next. 3 squared is 9. 4 times 9 is 36. And 36 minus 5 is 31. Question 3. Is the absolute value of a, b, minus c all over a c, where a is 7, b equals negative 3, and c equals 9. So I have the absolute value of 7 times a negative 3 minus c, which is a 9, all divided by 9. All right, so I'm going to do my grouping symbol first here, which is my absolute value. So inside I have a 7 times a negative 3, which is a negative 21. And then the absolute value of a negative 21 is a positive 21. And then I am going to simplify that numerator before I get to the division, because remember, a fraction bar is also a grouping symbol. So you want to make sure you've simplified both the numerator and the denominator before you divide. And 21 minus 9 is 12 over 9. And then that fraction is able to be reduced because 12 and 9 both have a common factor. They're both divisible by 3. So I'll divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3 to get my reduced answer of 4/3. And then last, question 4 is negative y squared plus 3xy. X is equal to 4 and y is negative 2. So I have negative y, which is a negative 2, squared, plus 3 times x, which is 4, times y, which is a negative 2 again. Exponent first, a negative squared, a negative times a negative is positive 4, but I do keep that negative on the outside, plus 3 times 4 times negative 2. And then I do my multiplication from left to right. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then a 12 times a negative 2 is negative 24. So that's going to make this negative 4 minus 24. And negative 4 minus 24 is a negative 28.